I always fuck it up. So many things to set up, and I'm like, I'm all ready to go. Whoops, I didn't have the camera connected. One moment, and a memento. What's up, everybody, by the way? Let's see. It's first time doing this, I swear. It's hard because the display's on.
What type of dog is this?
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm all ready to go. I'm like sitting here and kind of just twiddling my thumbs, going, okay, I'm just watching the timer so I can be ready to go when the timer starts or when the timer hits 0. And did everything but connected the camera. There I am. Hello. Mic levels are high. The music is high. Yeah. I was keeping the music was strategically kept high there, so it could entertain you with synthwave in the background while I was fiddling with getting this going. But no, it's good. What's up, Mithridites Astro? And who else? We had TMKDK first in the chat. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's morning and evening somewhere, I guess. Not sure I'm seeing the YouTube chat come through here. I'm not. Why is that not working? What's up, Mazif? And what's up, John Klopp? Yes, for some reason the YouTube chat is not connecting to my thing. Why is that not connecting? Well, yeah, what's up, One Solid Cube? Yeah, my app that's supposed to like merge the two chats does not. Yeah, it's not working, and it's not showing on the stream either. Why is that not connecting to this? This thing's kind of lame. Stream not found. You're streaming. How is the stream not found? Yeah, your link works to my stream. Why does? Yeah, I don't know why that's not working. Cool, yeah, glad you're feeling better, Myth. Yeah, being sick really sucks. Really sucks big time. Anyways, if you guys are on YouTube, I'm not really gonna see the YouTube chat. I don't know why this is not, why it's not connecting over here. That's really lame. Yeah, maybe pop over to Twitch. That'll be the excuse to get you over on to Twitch. Let me get my Twitch channel link posted. I don't know why that's not. That's frustrating. So I dual stream to Twitch and YouTube, and there's an app that like merges the chats, so it's all one chat, but it's not connecting to the YouTube chat for some reason, which is, it's gonna bug me and throw me off. Yeah, lurking from the office. Right on, brother. So I mean, I can see the YouTube chat if I go to the YouTube, you know, page, but I don't. I mean, how many things can I have open on the screen at one time? Right on. You're here early. Oh, cool. Bee tornado girl. No bees. There will be no bees on this stream today. I think the focus is a little off. Fiddle with that a little bit. Yeah. Let's see. Why is that not? Oh, I got you, Massive. Cool. Right on. All right. Well, let's get started on doing some fun stuff here. If you saw my most recent video, if you haven't, you should go watch that. Or I would invite you to go watch that. I'll post the link. Video. Yeah, new video about the 6-inch telescope. and upgrades and modifications to make it more better, more gooder. Go watch the video if you haven't. And one of the things towards the end of the video that I highlighted was comparing old data versus new data. And I did not go back and reprocess the old data the same way as the new data, so it's kind of not an apples to apples comparison. So what I want to do today is literally just kind of copy the steps, process both images at the same time, and kind of compare. Also, this data is, I mean, these large colorful nebulae are the most fun things to process and play with. So this is the, let me see, not zoomed version. There's the, this is the new data, and bottom is old data. Oh, I forgot to, there we go. Camera won't go to sleep now. So yeah, new data from the new 6-inch telescope and old data with the 8-inch telescope. And I can find, let's see, let's find a picture of the old rig. See if I can get new rig, old rig picture. I guess I could have been more prepared with that as well. Let's see, that'll be on that drive, and give me large icon view. Yeah, here we go. So this is, Sean might remember this my old rig here. This is my old rig I used to have. This was like my, well, it wasn't my first astrophotography rig, but this was back in 2016 after I'd upgraded a bunch of things. I had like 3 different mounts, ended up on this one. Orion Atlas Pro mount, very good mount, very good mount. And Orion 8-inch f4 astrograph with Canon 7D Mark II hanging off the front of that. And at the time, I didn't really know, you know, the kind of level of scrutiny and detail to making, you know, really good images with Newtonians that I am more aware of now. And here's me standing next to the current rig. So kind of a, I don't know if you can really compare the two. Pretty different. I mean, the same but different, right? So, so the old rig on paper, you know, should be far superior. 8-inch versus a 6-inch mirror. So larger mirror, more light gathering, and mainly larger aperture. We're looking at like fine details, like how much, you know, what do the fine details look like? Should be able to get more finer details. Also longer focal length, so more magnification. However, more betterer, yes. The Canon 7D Mark II APS-C size sensor, relatively large image sensor. Right? Maybe they're like more than an inch. Not quite full frame 35mm, but APS-C. And APS-C seems to be kind of like the sort of the standard for astrophotography, for, you know, higher end cameras and equipment. Yeah, we definitely had some good times for sure. APS-C sensor. So the new rig uses, I think it's a 1/1.2 image sensor. Let me see if I can find some image sensor size comparisons. Yeah, this is probably Wikipedia. So this is a kind of a diagram showing comparing image sensor sizes. 35mm so-called full frame being kind of a standard size. And then so the green is APS-C. So that's what the 8-inch rig, that's what that had, APS-C sensor size, right? And oh, that was not helpful. And what I'm imaging with is probably closer to the 1/2.5 inch image sensor. Let's actually look at that too. Let's see. Uranus C Pro. One over 1.2 inch sensor. Yes, sort of somewhere in between these sizes, but it's also a different aspect ratio. It's a 16:9 aspect ratio, so you know it's somewhere in between the two smallest sizes on here. So that's how much smaller an image sensor. And then the other big thing is the size of the pixels, which doesn't say on that. They're 2.9 micron. I just know that off the top of my head. And the pixel size on the Canon, 2.9 micron on the Uranus C IMX585 high sensor. And the pixel size on the Canon camera is something like 4. So like another 30-40% larger, right? So, yeah, on paper, the data from here should be significantly superior. But we'll see. So these are really stacked images. And this is a stack of 5-minute exposures. This is shooting 5 minutes on here. That's a good question. I think it depends on the focal length also, because it depends on the pixel scale, I think, in that regards. However, smaller pixel size means they're less sensitive to light. So maybe you can resolve finer details, but if they're not bright, I'm kind of on the edge of understanding there and grossly oversimplifying, something like that. I think the main limiting factor in the amount of detail that you're going to be able to capture is aperture size, how big the aperture is. And the difference between 6 and 8 inches is not really that much, right? So, anyways. So kind of also interesting is, despite being longer focal length, this is 800 millimeter focal length, and the new scope is 600 millimeter focal length. So despite being this one's also upside down. We'll fix that later. Despite being longer focal length, the field of view is wider. You can see how much wider the field of view is on the old data because it is such a larger image sensor, right? So, and this suffers from coma. In the corners, we can see noticeable coma. I was shooting with a coma corrector. Oh, this needs to be cropped a bit too. There's some artifacts down here. So I did shoot this with a coma corrector, but it was the Batter MPCC. See, really bad coma here. So just not the greatest coma corrector, but it's definitely coma. And if you look at my new version, this definitely has a better coma corrector in the corners. Stars pretty round, at least no signs of coma. And yeah, a little oblong over there, but not too bad. Yeah. So yeah. Now this amount of coma, Blur Exterminator is going to fix that, no problem. Yeah, in terms of the coma at least. But really kind of want to look at the center of the frame and kind of just look at, the amount of detail in there versus in here, which, I mean, it's a pretty, yeah, I don't know, kind of hard to tell. It's especially hard to compare when they're upside down, but they're they look pretty darn similar, don't they? I mean, maybe the one on the left is a little bit sharper. It's hard to tell without, like doing some processing on these, right? But, look at the detail in these dust lanes here. Yeah, God, they look so similar. It's kind of crazy to me how similar. So yeah, there is a difference in filtration, you could say. On the left is, and the colors are different. They're not calibrated. Once the colors are calibrated, they should look pretty close, if not identical. So on the left was Canon 7D Mark II DSLR. So by default, DSLRs have a filter that blocks 75% of H alpha signal, right? So I think that's probably the main reason why it looks more pink on the right, because more sensitive to H alpha. The right had a UV IR filter. The left did not, but I assume the Canon DSLR built-in filter also blocks UV IR. Well, it definitely blocks IR, infrared, because that's the end of the spectrum where the H alpha signal is closer to. So it must be doing UV blocking as well. So yeah. Also, the integration time is different. Let me see if I can find out that. I gotta kind of look up my. I gotta go to my archives here. Oh, this might be more of a thing. Let's see if I can find. Oh, M16. Good. Okay, here we go. CR2 28. The Astro mod. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I remember that filter, and it's like, I think it's like glued on or something. So yeah, it involves like peeling and potentially, you know, destroying your image sensor. So that's why, yeah, you might not want to do it. Oh, that's kind of. I was trying to make the calculator nice and big on the screen, but I have this ugly thing on this side. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, 28 times 28. No, not 25. 28 times 5 minutes divided by 60. 2.33 times 60. 2 hours 20 minutes. So I have 2 hours. I'm gonna call this 70. I think I can't do 2H20M. Yeah, PixInsight won't let you name these things with oh, it won't let me do that either? Why won't it? It's really picky about what. I can't do 7D? Okay, I guess we'll call that D. How about we call it C for Canon? 2 hours 20 minutes on the Canon. I guess maybe I just have to make a note like it's a 2 hours 20 minutes, and okay, the Uranus C. Let's see, M16. Oh, did I integrate all those? I had some kind of not great data. I guess I did, yeah. So I have 25 plus 66. 25 plus 66, 91 times 2 minute. I was doing 2 minute exposures. Divide that by 60, 3 hours, 0.033. 3 hours and 2 minutes. So almost an hour more data on the new rig, the new one on the right. Actually, we should call them old and new. Old and new. All right. Well, let's get started. Welcome everybody. If you're new here, I'm Dave. I do astrophotography and build telescopes and stuff. Today we're processing images in PixInsight. Mazif says he needs to get these 6-inch nude out again. Yeah, we need to compare. We need to have a 6-inch nude off. Mazif. Alrighty. Yeah, hi. A nude off, yeah. Yeah, a nude off. Okay, so first step, trickiest step, is gradient subtraction. And gradient subtraction is super tricky because these fields, if you look at the region of sky, there's stuff filling, there's signal in the whole sky. That's good signal. That's not gradient. So how do you, so it's really tricky to know what to remove. One thing I'm remembering now that there was that little bit of stacking artifact still at the bottom of this. So I am gonna crop that out really quickly. Oh, I have an astrometric solution there. Oh, okay. And then I won't crop it out yet. I was gonna have to do an astrometric solution, but it looks like I restacked it and I solved it. So again, if you don't know that, to remind myself and everybody, if you go in PixInsight, if you go over to the View Explorer, you select the image that you're looking at, it'll tell you it has an astrometric solution. So if I crop it, I'll lose that. So I'll do this other stuff first, and then I'll remove that, unless it breaks things. Guess we'll see. So, gradient removal. I could just try Graxpert. I mean, that's like the cool, man. I could just do the easy way, but because the gradients are so important and difficult in these images, I feel like I want to use the new multi-scale gradient correction tool, because that's based off of sky survey data. So it's based off of like known stuff. I don't know. So we'll start with spectrophotometric flux calibration. Starts with a sky survey, so like it knows what the sky should look like. So I feel like that's where I want to start with gradient removal. So we'll see how that works. And let's see. I think we can just say that same for both. For the flux calibration. I don't even really know what that does. Definitely send newts. What's up, Ninja Galapi? I saw your Patreon post, I think, right? You're working on M51, which I also shot recently. Error, insufficient something or other. Insufficient data, only 1 samples are available, at least 5 are required. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Let's Google that. I think that tends to be like let's see, it has to do with like number of reference stars or something. Only 1 sample is available, at least 5. Let's see. Maybe I'll try to turn off the automatic limit magnitude. Nope. Reject count 62,000. It's like you're rejecting all the stars in there, I think. Yeah, well, it's going to be kind of hard to... oh, here we go. This is what we wanted to... let's see. Maybe I turn down the rejection limit. I think maybe that's what's happening. I do want to process both images the same, so I'm gonna play a little bit, try to get this to work. Yeah, again, the same error. That reject count was higher. Okay, so maybe that rejection limit needs to be higher. Yeah, I definitely do. It's not a problem with that because I just did the flux calibration on the other image. It's just having a hard time with this image for some reason. Plus, this is using the Gaia. This is on the Gaia catalog right now. This is the flux calibration, so we're not even on that step yet. Yeah, no, same thing. It says right. It says yeah. No, you're right. So I'm on flux right now though. And let's see. Flux calibration. Well, I mean, it points to the Gaia catalog. So. That shouldn't matter. Let's see. Still kind of looking at Google here. Yeah, I think it still has to do with stars clipping. Like I wonder if I look at the non-stretched version. Let's see. We have tooltips. Detection scale, number of wavelet layers used for saturation, for structure detection. With more, with more wavelet layers, larger stars will be detected and used for signal evaluation. Okay, maybe let's try, we'll just try increasing. Aha, there we go. Increased the detection scale and now it did its thing. All right, cool. All right, next step. Multi-scale gradient transformation. I will try just the default parameters and see what this does. I'm pretty sure it's gonna subtract data from the core. So I'm gonna have to play around to get this to not do that. Yeah, it seemed to subtract a lot of brightness out of the core. And well, I don't know. Maybe that's okay. Undo the gradient. You can definitely see a, you know, sort of a green to red gradient there. And it did seem to kind of darken these dark nebula areas. I feel like that's like it shouldn't remove that, right? I mean, the other gradient looks right as far as the bright to dark area. So let's see. Let's play around with the I think the gradient scale, either gradient scale or structure separation. Let's see, what do the tooltips tell me? Degree of intensity separation applied to represent isolated large scale image structures. This parameter lets you control how large scale image structures are represented in a gradient model. By decreasing the value of this parameter, the relative intensities of isolation of large scale structures will tend to be more similar. It's such a wordy definition. I'm not comprehending. Okay, by decreasing the value, the relative intensity of isolated large-scale structures will tend to be more similar. What does that mean? I guess we just play with it and find out. Nothing like a little trial and error. Okay, so here's the two. That was the setting, the default setting of 3. That was the setting of 1. And I think I like that. It's still pulling out brightness there, but I think it's smoother. So let's undo that again, and then let's try the structure separation at 5. Let's see if that produces a result that we want. I think this is worse. Yeah, because this looks like it's pulling out more detail. Okay, we'll go back. We'll go with the value of 1. And then I know we can change the gradient scale also. And I think I've done that before, and sometimes that helps. My favorite tool for removing gradients is honestly just Graxpert, because it's just so much, it's just easy. It's one button. You click it and it's done. And so, I don't know, maybe I'll give up on this and just try that, right? All right, what's that look like? Okay, I think I kind of like this better. Yeah, I've used that tool. I use that tool too sometimes. Honestly, like what I usually, my main workflow is usually just try all the tools with the default setting is, and whichever one I think looks the best, that's what I go with. And the reason is I kind of hate, iterating and hate's a strong word maybe, but I don't really like, it's so boring to just, try this and with all these sliders that I don't really know what I'm doing. So it's kind of like, just use whichever one works out of the box, right? But because we're trying to kind of compare these images, I want to do what I think is going to be like the best tool, which I'm assuming should be the multi-scale gradient correction tool, since this is based off a sky survey. It's based off like what the sky should look like. That's my understanding. This stuff gets really complicated, and anyways. Okay, so I'm going to save the background model for now for that image, and I'll apply the same settings to this image, which may not be the same thing because it's different gradients. Yeah, it's so deep. I mean, that's the astrophotography rabbit hole is never ending. It's, like, yeah. Okay, so this seemed to pull out a lot of pink, which I don't think that's very good, because I think that's pulling out a lot of signal, because it should be pink in there, right? So let's kind of look at this. Give me the before and the after. Oh, maybe not too bad. Yeah, there's definitely this gradient, sort of a bottom to top, darker at the bottom than it is at the top. And that definitely makes it look flatter. I feel like that because the gradient model that it removed has all this pink in here, I feel like it's removing signal, but it doesn't look, I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. It does look a little bit different than the other model, but we should expect that. The gradient should look different. This other one may have been calibrated with not very good flats. Remember, this is from 2016. And as much as I don't know about astrophotography and processing now, I knew even less then. So, I think we'll just go with it. I think we'll just rock from here. Those are gradient models. And let's do color calibration. Spectrophotometric color calibration. And we set the RGB filters just to the beta RGB, which is not what I have, but I think that's close enough for a color camera. And we'll do preview on that and we'll color calibrate. And again, if you guys are watching on YouTube, my chat window is not connecting to YouTube for some reason. So I may not see a chat message on YouTube. Actually, wait a minute, maybe hold on, maybe I can. Okay, I'll just have another window up to monitor. So anyways, if you're on YouTube, drop a 1 in chat and maybe I'll see it. Okay, that looks color calibrated. Should be pink and kind of whitish looking. Mostly pink. Gradient looks pretty well corrected. Okay, over here, and we just need a preview. Cool. And we go from preview, that preview, and then we run that. Okay. Should be good on that. Give you the link to auto stretch. And yeah, okay, should look pink. So kind of interesting. Right away we can see in the core how much more pink there is in the new image. And my assumption there is just due to the H alpha signal getting blocked by the DSLR stock filter. So, and then look at areas like the noise. You can see the noise is much better on the one on the right. That's again to be expected because that's a cooled camera and filtered and calibrated dark frame. So much better noise. The Canon camera shows a lot of chrominance noise, a lot of color. You can see a lot of green and blue and purple pixels in there. Over here, we definitely have some of that, but it's much less, much more of an even sort of flow. Okay, so let's do a crop on this guy. Crop out that bottom stacking artifact because I don't need the astrometric solution anymore. Yeah, crop that, yes. And okay, we're done with cropping. No. And then we want to rotate this one because I can't look at this upside down. It just doesn't work for my brain. There we go. they still, I mean, I'm still kind of like, they both look pretty similar. Next step is Blur Exterminator. And I find that with these nebula, I can really crank up the sharpening, the sharpen non-stellar. I'll go to 0.85 and see what that looks like. On the galaxies, like the fine dust lanes in the galaxies, with the Blur Exterminator sharpening, it can just get like weird looking, weird sort of filament shapes that are just not very good. So and that's running. Okay, so Blur Exterminator is amazing. That's the before. That's the after. It just takes it takes the image from looking like a crayon drawing to like a space telescope picture. And the detail just, yeah, the detail looks incredible in here. I don't think this looks overly processed at all. I don't think it doesn't, you know. You can see so much more detail in, like there's like a shelf here. And it's gone, like there's no detail at all. And then like, boom, look at how much comes out of it. It's just incredible. Yeah. Yeah, just, then we look up here. These dark filaments can get kind of weird, but I think that's okay. All right, let's run Blur Exterminator over here. And while that's running, I'm gonna do a Twitch ad. So 1 minute Twitch ad. Running the Twitch ads disables the pre-roll ads, which I think are probably the worst possible thing you could have for your stream, especially a smaller stream. People click on your stream, are kind of curious, and then they see an ad right away. I definitely lose interest. I've definitely clicked on, you know, just trying to find random streamers, like maybe this guy's fun to hang out with, like what's he doing? And then I click on it, it's an ad, and it's like, oh. And I know it's not the streamer's fault or whatever, but internet attention spans, you know, I'm guilty. So we are Blur Exterminating. Taking a while. This is a huge document, because yeah, this is like a 21 megapixel image that's then been 2 times drizzled, so it's the equivalent of like a, I guess it's double, so I guess like a 42 megapixel image, and it is done. So let's take a look. It looks like pretty similar amount of detail in the core here. So I'll get the do a before and after for you again, and after, gosh, it looks identical. Like the amount of detail is like, it's so crazy how close that is, right? I mean, so old on the left, new on the right. I mean, aside from the colors being a bit different, I mean, like look at the fine details in like this filament here. Like it looks the same. I mean, like maybe there's more detail in the one on the right. Yeah, the star spikes will definitely be better. The star shapes will definitely be better. That was kind of one of the main, you know, things working on with the new scope to refine. But it's so close. As far as the amount of detail, right, in these dust shapes. So with the previous processing, these dark nebula areas, the dark structures were much sharper. And yeah, so that's still definitely, I think that's still definitely the case. And that I think is probably due to the noise from the cooled camera versus the uncooled camera. The Canon 7D Mark II was known, that image sensor was known for being really good signal to noise ratio for being an uncooled image sensor. So the fact that it looks as good as it does is pretty great. But you know, this is where, you know, the proper cooled sensor with dark calibration frames calibrated in, I think really can make the difference there. You think the new one looks maybe a little bit sharper, a little bit more detail? Let's take a look at some other regions. I mean, some of that can be the noise, some of that can be the color. Yeah, maybe a bit more detail in here, but this is, you know, dark structure too, right? So I really should denoise it before, you know, really doing this pixel peeping comparison, but gosh, it's close. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be less noisy. We'll get the stars removed, and then we'll noise. Then we'll do some denoising. Yes, yeah, right. So that's what I'm thinking too. That the noise can make it look like less detailed. The details get lost in the noise. So we'll star exterminate. This might take a few minutes. This is gonna crank some watts in the CPU. And the GPU. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing. We're pixel peeping. I mean, and both images, I mean, both data sets are gonna produce a really wonderful image. Yeah. This image on the left is actually what's printed here. This is a print, but it's like upside down. You definitely can produce. Your image will be closer to the one on the right. You just gotta not be sick. Get your butt out there. I know, obviously, it's not something you have control over. Hopefully next month we'll be good and get out again for another dark sky trip, and we'll have more hours to shoot this. I only had about 3 hours. It's only high enough in the sky around 1 a.m. and then it starts getting light at 4, so there's literally only 3 hours to shoot. So, okay, those stars. This is an area where the starless image looks really beautiful. I oftentimes don't care for the starless images, but there's kind of a lot of detail and stuff going on in here. This is like very gentle, I don't know, silk-like wavy cloud structure that I think looks, yeah, I think actually looks pretty cool. I usually never process or post starless images, but I don't know, maybe with these ones I'll have to, because there's so many stars that sort of very flowy, soft stuff gets kind of lost in there. Should go quicker to eliminate the stars on this next one. Smaller, lower resolution. What's up, Olifab? How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. We're processing Eagle Nebula pictures. One from last weekend and one from 9 years ago. Fun to have the old data and we can compare side by side with the new data. So that's what we're doing. And so yeah, there's the new one. And I think the gradients look really good in both of these images. And now we can see a good difference in the red, the amount of red, the HA signal, right? So this is with the proper astronomy camera, and we just see sort of red, pink everywhere in here, which is what we expect in this region. And with this one, you can see it's like you turn the red down a bit, which is to be expected because this is a standard DSLR image sensor, which blocks about 75% of the red, of the 75% of the HA signal. An unmodified DSLR, but still able to produce both of them very nice images. So yeah, I really kind of like the starless images here. Anywho, let's get noise exterminator going. Now, what I've been doing with noise exterminator is I just been turning the denoise slider up to like 0.85, and that's been good for like all my images. So I've played around a lot with trying to find the best setting there, and I didn't really get anywhere except yeah, just running the default settings, but the denoise slider up to 0.85 is the best. You're helping your friend with spectroscopy project. Oh. Driving yourself crazy trying to get better collimation. Spectroscopy project, is that for like grinding a mirror? What's up, Jay? The auto collimator is yeah, so are you talking about grinding a mirror, Olifab, or are you talking about just getting the Newtonian collimated? And Jay's asking about the auto collimator. How am I liking the auto collimator? I believe it is essential, Jay. And I'm pretty sure I need to do some more testing. I'm pretty sure my camera, the decal that I made a big deal about, the camera collimator, I'm pretty sure that is not collimated. I'm pretty sure that image sensor or the lens are slightly shifted. So I need to use the auto collimator to try to collimate that. Is a kind of a future project maybe to work on. Still, the camera collimator is good for getting things roughly aligned. But the auto collimator, as far as I know, it's the tool. It's like the auto collimator doesn't lie. Like everything else can be kind of iffy, but the auto collimator tells you for sure. Analyzing spectrum of stars. Oh yeah, you got two different things going on. Gotcha. Yeah, so Olifab, I definitely recommend getting an auto collimator if you don't have one. It might kind of depend. If it's a faster scope, so the accuracy of the collimation needed increases with decreasing focal ratio. Or increasing focal ratio? Because the focal ratio is f divided by, so if it's increasing, that should mean an increasing focal ratio will mean a smaller aperture, right? No. F4 or F3, smaller number in denominator means bigger, so that's why I'm. Anyways, fast scopes, higher collimation requirement. Slower scopes, less required. Yeah, it's like an f4.7, so it's kind of borderline. Yeah, you probably an auto collimator still is going to be better. If you don't know what we're talking about, I purchased this one from Astro Systems, and unfortunately, you know, their website looks like it was the second website ever. Yeah, this is their auto collimator. Yeah. Maybe about a week. Took them a couple days to process the order. I did email them ahead of time to just say, hey, do you have them in stock? You know, because it's like you see a website like this and you're like, is this person even still alive? You know? Yeah. I don't mean to be talking shit if anybody from Astro System is watching, because I hate websites and doing websites, and it's like if you had it running and it's working, you know, yeah. You only, made on GeoCities, right? Well, this is one for you. Yeah, every other Astro site, exactly. So, they need updating, but, you know, because these websites are all just like some guy, right? And I think his name is Randall, something like that. I have to look at my email. But in any case, yeah. Oh, there you go. Tell them, hey, I'll build your website for you. Yeah, so they have a pretty good price too. The 2-inch one is, see, even like, where is the price? 2-inch auto collimator, $95. So, you know, kind of pricey, but that's a better price than one of the other ones that I've seen on the internet. So, oh yeah. Sorry, this is Astro Systems. I will share the link there. Yeah. Did I share? Yeah, Astro Systems. So I did order from them, and you know, they sent it to me. Yeah. So I did try to DIY that. Tried to make one myself, and I don't think it's one that you can really do that. I mean, you can. Problem is, it needs to be, the auto collimator itself needs to be collimated. So you can see there's screws on there, so you can adjust it. I don't want to adjust it. And then it's got the mirror in there. So yeah, I don't. I without proper machine and calibration tools, I don't really want to mess with that, right? So, yeah. And if you haven't seen my latest video, check that out, because I go over the auto collimator in the video, and you can actually see it in action, which is hard to do. Most collimation tools, it's really hard to share, you know, what it actually looks like. But this one is actually able to just put the camera lens, you know, right up to the peephole, to the pinhole on the auto collimator, and it's able to actually see inside what it actually looks like in there. So it actually, all I had to do was hold the camera up to it, and it worked. Yeah, less than that, maybe 3 millimeters, maybe 2 millimeters. But yeah, it was no problem. It was easy. So in the video, if you watch my video, I cropped it in quite. It's zoomed in quite a bit. But yeah, it was pretty easy to do. Anyways, we're looking at these things have been noise exterminated, and so now we kind of want to compare detail of the denoised images. Okay, so the noise has been removed, and maybe there's more detail in the one on the right. New image is less saturated. New image is on the right, so there's more color in the one on the right. But the saturation is not something we're gonna look at. Or yeah, I mean that's something that comes later. And that's expected because of the filter, right? Yeah, they're really remarkably close. I feel like maybe it's a bit more detail over here. Ninja Gloppy, he's back. Yeah, we're not looking at the color. Don't look at the color contrast. Just looking at like the edges of the object. Right, looking at like how, like this looks like one sort of pointy part, right? What does this look like? It looks kind of maybe softer. And, you know, this thing, like, I feel like this one is more sharper. Maybe that's some artificial sharpening going on. It might be like a AI hallucination. And then over here, I feel like this is maybe got more detail than over here. But again, that could be some sort of AI sharpening, kind of making up details. Let's look at, let's see, there was this dark structure over here. And I think I've got this process better now. I think kind of even amount of, this one's still more noisy, so it's not as smooth and clean. But now these dark structures are looking, the amount of detail is, I think, is pretty similar. Yes, the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower Nebula. It's they're super close. It's, yeah. Okay, let's do histogram transformation. I kind of like the one on the left before I get too much farther into this. I kind of like the one on the left. Just seems to be more, you know, because there's less HA signal. That just seems to be kind of more like, I don't know, more dynamic. It's sort of brown and stuff, and versus the one on the right look like it's just kind of pink, like it's monocolor or something. Yeah. Yeah, because, you know, the core of this is going to be like a lot of oxygen signal in there, strong in the oxygen signal, right? And because the DSLR filter is going to block a lot of the HA signal, then the oxygen kind of, so you get this better contrast in here. It looks kind of white, and then when we saturate it, it'll probably look like kind of blue. Versus over here, the HA signal just kind of overpowers it. Yeah. Need to buy a color meter. Yeah. Yeah, and of course my monitor's not color calibrated or any of that shit, right? Yeah. Yeah, the one on the left is the old one. That was the DSLR, my old 8-inch telescope. So this is the old. This is this image, this scope, this image, this scope. The main thing you can tell is the aspect ratio. So this is a 4:3, the DSLR image sensor, and the other one is a 16:9. And just the amount of pink in it. Okay. How much time? Yeah, we looked that up earlier. The Canon, the one on the left, the old one, 2 hours, 20 minutes. And the one on the right, 3 hours and 2 minutes. So, and they're both at f4, so the amount of integration time should be pretty similar. I think it's a pretty fair comparison because Canon 7D at much larger, more sensitive pixels. So less integration time needed, maybe. Ah, yeah, they always look different on every device too. That's why I like color professionals, color gradists. Gradists? People do color grading for movies and stuff have special color calibrated monitors, and they're like 10 times as expensive as a regular consumer monitor. Okay, so we will go to nonlinear mode on these. And I still just do this by eyeball. I just do what looks good. I've played around a little bit with the generalized hyperbolic stretch tool that is popular, and I honestly just kind of don't like it. I like to just do it manually. Maybe like that. Probably. I just go to what looks good, like what the contrast I like. With a nebula like this, it's kind of trickier because the background, it technically isn't any background in here. There's just dark nebula in foreground. We're looking into the core of the Milky Way, right? We can't see through, only an infrared telescope could see through to the background, right? So, and even then there's so many stars, you're really just not really seeing any such thing as background. So I think I'm just going to, I think I'm gonna leave the midtones or the lights the same. Oh, that's right. Okay, hold on. I gotta go back. Redo the auto stretch on that. Oh shoot. Okay, gotta go back. Looks like some weird artifacting from the noising here too. The denoising, that is. So yeah, maybe I need to probably totally two different images, different denoising probably should be required, right? So all right, so just make it darker. Let's go about that much. Yeah, there's some kind of weird up here. Okay, now we'll stretch the one on the right. So this is kind of one part where it's going to be pretty subjective and not really. Yeah, and difficult to get a one-by-one, one-to-one comparison, right? Maybe that. So just kind of looking like, do they seem like they're kind of similarly contrasty? Look at the darkest areas and the lightest areas. Yeah. So I definitely like the sort of variation in color. We sort of get like a red to orange transition in here. Almost like a brown. Versus over here, it's just all red. It's just all pink. And if you look at some wide field Milky Way shots, actually, probably the image from our friend Dan Watt is the best. Okay, by the way, if you haven't seen this image, incredible. Our friend Dan Watt. I'll share that image. Take a look at that. Dan's astrophotography is, yeah, his is legit. Milky Way panel here. So, yeah, trying to sort of keep these bright Milky Way objects in perspective. So the Eagle Nebula is up here, which is pretty obvious, right up there. Yeah, right. So if you look at this shot, it's surrounded by dark, but then look at how much bright orange, right? So the dark is dust that's blocking the light from these bright orange stars. So in the region around the Eagle, we should definitely see, it's mostly red because it's mostly hydrogen, but there's definitely a lot of dark and orange yellow in there, right? So when I look back at this image, like I feel like these colors really kind of match that. You see what I mean? Yeah, so we should see some like brown in there. Yeah, what a spectacular image. You got the Eagle Nebula there, Swan Nebula here, Trifid and Omega Nebula. Then Rho Ophiuchi, and this is, I think they call this the Blue Horse Head. Yeah, let's. Yeah, he shot this from Grand View. Acquisition details. 17 hours. Oh no, that's the coordinates. 12 hours. 144 by 5-minute exposures. Canon EOS R8. Get you driving. That's what it is for us. It's about 5 hours, or for me. Grandview's 5 hours from here. Mount Pinos is maybe like Bortle 3.5, depending on the weather conditions. 4-panel mosaic. Yeah, Bortle 2. It says no filter. I'm pretty sure that's an Astro modified Canon R8. And yeah. Yep. Anyways, if you're not following Dan Watt on Astrobin, you should. I don't have an Astrobin account, so I guess I'm not following him, but he's my reference. Okie dokie, let's see. All right, we have non-linear images. And now what's the next step? Death Valley 5-hour drive. Yes, you're not going to Death Valley in the summer. No, thank you. Let's see. We do like local histogram equalization to kind of get some more detail in there. I had another thought too. I could probably make this work. I'm skipping ahead, but so I know the stars in my new image are going to look much better. So what I could do, I would have to actually backtrack quite a bit many steps, but I could register the two images so they're aligned, and then I could put the stars from my new image into the old image. So I could have old data but with new stars, so stars look better. Of course, I would have to crop in because there'd be a large portion where I don't have stars. But I don't know, might be kind of fun. Probably, maybe for another time. Maybe that's another stream. Okay, local histogram equalization. Probably I will apply a little bit of this to the full image. Definitely not that amount because that looks awful. Usually I apply this to the brighter areas, but there's detail everywhere in here. So I'll do a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit on the whole image. On the whole image. And I'll probably do that to both equally. Just doing a small amount of local histogram equalization. This kind of helps give a little bit more contrast to the details. Oh, there's another thing I want to do too. I can do it now. Kind of cheating, but I've done this the last few times. This one pillar of the 3 pillars is quite a bit dimmer than the other 2. And oh, that's weird. Did the stream drop off and then reconnect? Huh. Well, hopefully you guys still got me. It says it's on. Yeah, it looks like it's still going. That's weird. Just sent another notification. Maybe this thing will work now. Anyways, so we're gonna kind of cheat and we're gonna draw a mask and we're gonna darken this one pillar so that we have sort of equal contrast on all 3. And yeah, it must have stopped for a second and then restarted because it sent a notification to the Discord. So yeah. Okay, so to do this, use SETI Astro's script. Fame. Cool, thanks for letting me know. So this tool allows you to manually draw a mask. So we'll make a mask around this guy using the lasso tool, and it is just rather unfortunately phallic in shape. Unfortunate or fortunate? So just kind of go around here. And we'll feather it a bit too, so it's not this jaggedy looking. And blur amount, I think like 8. 8. Then you hit execute, and it makes it in the background, so that's good. And then apply the mask. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this one. Script, SETI Astro Fame. Oh, there's our spam bot guy. He's gone. 1 per stream. Yeah, it like disconnected, it dropped and then reconnected right away. I don't know if that's my computer or internet or. Okie dokie. So now we'll go and we'll draw the mask. I don't like that. Let's doesn't have to be super duper accurate. Oh, I think I kind of... Oh, yeah, you know what? I kind of screwed up the other one. I think I need to... I excluded part of the structure. It's a little bit more clear on this one. Yeah, go outside. I already did that. I already did my outside for the day. Okay, so I want to redo this one. Do a little bit differently. This is the kind of thing that Photoshop is better at, because you can just, you know, manually draw and paint stuff, and PixInsight doesn't really have tools for that, which is why we have to use this script. Third-party plugins to give you those kind of features. Ah! I hate drawing with a mouse. It's really kind of annoying. Just get there, get into this part. Okay, now there's some sort of white. There's some white on the tip over here. Some bright areas. There we go. Okay, so now I can do a preview and then curves, and we just make it a little bit darker. Just like a little bit. You can like greatly exaggerate it to see the effect it's gonna have. But we wanna just go a little bit darker, just to kind of match the contrast with the other pillars there. Like, take a look at what that looks like. Like, that'll just help make these three pillars just stand out. This is like the key feature in this image, right? So that's what we want. And then this one over here, let me make a preview of that. And this I feel like is maybe a bit too much, so we'll kind of back it off. Before, after, yeah, no, that's probably all right. Apply. Okay. Close those. So don't need the preview. Don't need that. And don't need the preview. Okay. Now we'll do some more masking and more histogram, local histogram equalizationing. But we want to grab just kind of the brighter areas in the core region here. Nice and soft. And start with this one, I suppose. And let's see. Yeah, probably the same range selection for the mask over here. Then local histogram equalization. And so now we'll do a larger amount than what I did before. Still not a ton though, because this can end up looking pretty crappy, but I like this. That's, you know, adds a bit of contrast in there. Yeah, so that'll be a good amount. Kind of helps separate the details out. And this process makes the stream hiccup a little bit. Computationally intensive. Yeah, I think those are both pretty fairly matched, and don't need those masks anymore. Then the only thing left to do really is saturation, other than the stars. Yeah, it's friggin', it's running. Yeah, I think all I do now is just bring the saturation up. Now you don't want to go crazy on it. We'll go for kind of like a mid amount of saturation. And this one may need, I feel like it needs a bit less. It's already more saturated. Maybe something like that. Instagram ready shot. I'm gonna go for just what pleases me, not necessarily the Instagram thing. But yeah, I really like the contrasted colors that you get in here. There's really like a, you know, there's it's really more of a green in the core of here. And over here, it's just the hydrogen signal just drowns everything out. I suppose that's where you know, mono imaging with filters, either RGB filters or narrowband imaging, can really allow you to get, you know, better colors, you know, more interesting colors. Yeah. Let's. I mean that. Yeah, it's kind of muddy and ugly over here. It's messy in the corners. And then this one, the new one, still also quite great. This one very smooth all overall. Very, very, very nice looking corner to corner. Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's play with the stars then. So we will do SETI Astro Star Stretch. And we'll do stretch amount of 4. You know, remove the green. We can go with a bit more star reduction here. SETI Astro Star Stretch. And do the same over here. So if we look at like just the stars, yeah, you get a better color variation. That's interesting. I mean, it shouldn't be surprising, but it is interesting to note. The new stars are so much better, aren't they? Look at how, yeah, the spikes are sharp. I think it looks like there's probably more spikes. Like the dimmer stars produce spikes on the new one, and that's not surprising. I'm pretty sure that is to be expected because the veins are thicker. And I wasn't quite sure. I think I remember hearing this now, but at the time I was working on the scope, I wasn't quite sure the effect that the thicker veins would have. But now I seem to recall, and that does seem to be the case in here, is that thicker veins for the secondary will produce spikes on dimmer stars. So for example, I've got these two regions. See this trio of stars here, and then off to the left of it, this one's, they're rotated. There's another trio, and you can see spikes on these two stars, and these ones, there's no spikes. So, yeah, these look a bit more blown out. So, probably could do some more processing on these to get them to look a bit better. And there's weird colors stuff going on here too, like this looks almost like chromatic aberration. So yeah, there's definitely some processing, more processing that could be done to make these look better. But I don't really know how to do that. I mean, I kind of do. It's a more deconvolution or morphological transformation. It's these tools that I just find really tedious, and I don't want to do that. And as soon as I put the stars on there, it looks so much more, it looks like so much less contrast. Oh, look what we got. Hi, Mr. Cat. Say hi, Mr. Cat. Hello, cat.
What type of dog is this?
Mr. Cat, come to say hi. She doesn't always make an appearance on every stream. You are shedding. You are shedding. Hello, cat. That's a good cat. Her food dish might be empty. Or no, does she just want to sit on my lap? You can sit up there. You're not supposed to go on the computer desk. What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, she just needs attention. She just needs attention. Wait, did I do that or did she do that? Yeah, there's a mute button on the top of the mic here. I think she did it with her cheek. You can tell because of the LEDs, the RGB, but you can't tell when there's a cat head in the way. All right, there we go. Okay, now we've got the supervisor. There we go. So that's kind of as close to one-to-one processing as we can get. There's so many stars in the field that this tends to look less. The whole thing looks less contrasty. So I might remove the stars and increase the contrast a bit. But because when you put the bright stars in, now it's like the background looks artificially brighter. It looks busy with stars. Maybe I should reduce the stars even further. I can, that's kind of like the, especially this image here. All right, let's undo that. Wider shot looks more busy. Yeah, so let's try reducing the star sizes. I mean, it should look busy because there's a fuckload of stars in that area, right? Like it should look like, because you're looking into the core of the galaxy where there's massive, you know, density of stars. So it should look like that. But I know what you mean. This is like you know, cosmetically to our eyes. Cosmetically? Yeah. Let's try stretch amount of 3. So pretty aggressively less stretching on the stars. And this should be O. Yeah, I think maybe I like that better. I should have. I didn't have the before and after to compare, but yeah, maybe I like that better. So I'll do the same on this one. Yes. You think much better? Mr. Cat just wants to put her face down on the keyboard. Not the best place, but I guess we'll allow it for now. Okay. Yeah. 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 I kind of don't. Yeah, so I definitely I kind of don't like the starless images, Ninja Galapi. I don't know. I find it kind of like not genuine because there's stars there, right? But I don't know. I mean, we know that there's, you know, stars versus not stars. But I mean, these fields both look incredible without the stars. I mean, you can really see all this sort of background color and these crazy wave-shaped patterns. So if there's a starless image or region that I like, it's this one, particularly this shot, because the background is so clean. I say background, there really is no background here, right? But you know what we mean. So yeah, I think this is one that does look good as a starless image. Yeah. Well, I think that's a better looking star field. So yeah, like not a finished product myth. Like if you're gonna show me the starless image, you better have the stars ready to go. You know? Yeah, right, Kat? You want stars? You like stars? Oh no, she likes pets. And scratches. Chin scratching. So let's compare this processing to the processing from the other day. No, Kat, you can't. I need a decoy keyboard. And 16. Okay, so this is the one. This was my first go at processing the new data versus the new one. So I definitely. Oh, Cat, you're pushing buttons. I'm sorry, Cat. I'm sorry. I know that's comfy. You're pushing buttons on the keyboard though, and you might make me accidentally do something. Maybe we'll have some treats later. Yeah, okay, so this is my first time processing the image, and here's the second time. First time, I didn't subtract the gradient, or either not at all or not as well. So this is definitely better gradient control, and the stars are smaller in the new process. So the new one's probably better. You like the wider shot with the colors? Yeah. 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 Indeed. So I guess I like my new process better. Maybe I want the stars to be more saturated. No, don't go up there. What if I bump the... Oh, yeah, no worries. What if I bump the saturation up on the stars here? Sometimes I like the look when the stars are like really saturated. Like maybe if the stars are smaller and then you saturate them. Ah, okay. Maybe I like that. Because it kind of helps to sort of see the blue and the orange against the pink and gives more color overall to the image, which is kind of dominated by pink. You love saturating the hell out of the stars. There's definitely points of too much saturation. But I do like distinctly seeing the different colors. Yeah, I like this much better because I can see orange and blue. I like seeing that in my images because that has meaning, right? It's not just having different colors. Like the color of the star tells you everything there is to know about that star, and that's really cool. Yeah. Sorry, Cat. I don't have a very good laugh for the cat. All right. Yeah, the different temperatures, exactly. You switched over to using chroma instead of saturation when processing the... Interesting. Is that just the C instead of the S in here? Oh, look at that. That does give a different result. I guess I don't know the difference between chroma and saturation. So let's try it. Oh. Saturation increases brightness and chroma doesn't? Yeah, then it sounds like I should have been using chroma like my whole life and not saturation, right? I don't think I've really noticed saturation affecting brightness, but maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention. Well, both are giving me great results here, so. City Astro has a whole video on it, right? And someone will come in and chime in on how about he's 100% wrong about everything. So cool, maybe we'll check that out. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so there's chroma up. So should we have done chroma instead of saturation for saturating the images before the stars? Okay, that's chroma. So that's... Is that brightening the image? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I don't know that I see much difference. Maybe it depends on what you're doing. Chroma seems to be maybe more gentle than saturation, but yeah. Maybe it works good for stars. We're taking an ad break, apparently. Thanks, Twitch. So I'm gonna go re-up my water. I'll be RB. We're back. I'm back. Oh. Okay, so I don't know. Are we done? It's like, done, not done, perfect, finish, finito. When you add the stars back in, that sort of messy background garble back here looks much nicer. So that's cool. Yeah, trying to compare, what the two look like. They both look pretty fantastic. I gotta say, I think I've better processing on this one now than what I showed in that YouTube video. I've gotten a little bit better at the processing since I did that one. And yeah, still some kind of not very nice noise in here. Which I could maybe work, if I worked with Noise Exterminator a bit on some of the details, I could probably refine that, a bit. But I definitely like the, this core in here looking, I wonder if I can, like maybe I should try, it looks like there's some green in there. Like what if I try to boost the green or the blue in the core? That's where this image, I think, kind of really has the advantage, is just the color contrast in there, right? So maybe if I go back a couple steps and this is the part of the processing where I just am not very good at. Yeah, so we don't want to do that. And let's see here. So yeah, the oxygen signal is in that sort of teal range, right? So trying to saturate that range, and well, maybe there isn't color. It's weird because it does like nothing here. So maybe it's more in the blue. Huh. Yeah, there's just not really any color in there. Really try to push it up and it does nothing. So yeah, without trying to okay, there we go. Now I'm kind of getting something. Kind of trying to push green into that bright areas there. And yeah, so that gives me some, sort of enhances that contrast there. Get the before and the after. Yeah, okay, now there's a bit of green. So now what if I just saturate the whole thing? Or maybe try chrominance. I think I like what saturation is doing better. I think that gives a nice amount of different color in there. A bit of green. I was kind of looking for now over here. Let me put the stars back on that. Now over here, you know, I'm thinking I don't think I can get anywhere near that without doing some other kind of crazy processing. It'd be very tricky, but we'll give it a try. Let's see. So we want to undo the curves transformation for the saturation, and then curves, and I was just adding green to the brightest areas, and there's just like so little green. Okay, we kind of get, okay, we do get a little bit. Yeah, actually, right, or just kind of right around the pillars there in the core. Which is maybe kind of nice. It really kind of, yeah, further emphasizes that region there. What if I do the same thing with the blue? Kind of makes it look white in there. I don't think I really get, you know, much more color. Or maybe I need to do more of the sort of there we go. Yeah. Okay, that's kind of more like what I was looking for. Sometimes the curves tool is a little bit funky to use here in PixInsight. That looks a little weird. Now it looks yellow. This is where, like, playing with curves is just like, I really don't know what I'm doing. I just am playing. That's why. But that maybe I definitely get some contrast in there. I maybe don't like that it looks yellow, but that's because I'm like adding green to the red. So do I need to like, yeah, do I need to add blue also or something? Oh, maybe. Okay. Cool, Myth. Thanks for being here, brother. Yeah, right on, man. Okay, so I don't quite get the sort of same green that I have in the other one, but it's it just kind of looks white right now. Maybe I just need like a lot more green. Yeah, I don't want to push it too far and have it look like that. Looks awful. But I think I like. I think I like that. Just for giving a color contrast there. Oh, hey, Nerbsum over on YouTube. Sorry if I missed your comment. My chat thing isn't syncing to YouTube properly, so I apologize. But thanks for being here. I guess you are late to the party. I didn't see how long ago you commented. But welcome. Okay, so kind of still just trying to match the colors on these two. And I kind of suck at colors. Do I need to bring like the red down a bit? Oh, okay, here we go. It's kind of matching, but it's a little bit, I don't know, it's really difficult to not overdo it, right? The over processing side of things is super tricky. And just kind of doing this by eyeball is like, you know, like it's just like barely moving my hand with the mouse. It's like the difference between too much and yeah, kind of not enough. Okay, maybe we go with that. Oh, you know what? Also, I'm trying to compare left and right, but this one hasn't been saturated yet, right? So yeah, once I saturate it, now I don't think I like it as much. Yeah, I think it just kind of looks, it looks forced. It looks, yeah, it looks a little forced, which I am kind of forcing it because it's, you know, yeah. So maybe I just need to be more subtle. And maybe all I need to do is just pull red, like kind of out of that brighter area. Yeah, when I do that, it starts to turn kind of green. But like, it's really hard to be kind of subtle and smooth with it. Or what if I do, oh God, not that. Yeah, this sort of red to green tool. Wow, that's really sensitive. I'm just playing with colors here now. Yeah, that's just doing weird stuff. Okay, we don't want that. So maybe just kind of subtly pull back the red from that region and then push some green into it. Like maybe more subtle. Maybe some blue. Okay, I'll try that and then see what it looks like when I add saturation. Now it's kind of purple in the middle, maybe. There's a little bit of maybe sort of purple. Definitely more contrast in there. Maybe that's as much as I really can or should do. put stars back in and take a look, see what we think with the stars. Yeah, I guess that's to be, you know, expected, right? I want to compare that again with my process from the other day. So that was the other day. My first attempt at processing that image, and then that one. So that one, that was the old process. The new process definitely a bit better. I think the red now, I think I kind of screwed up the red on this. It's a little bit duller. Maybe I just don't quite have the amount of saturation. So maybe I just want to up that. Or maybe we'll just try chrominance. Just a smidge. We have a bit more contrast overall in that image than this one, but yeah. Swifty, what's up? What do you miss? Well, we've been kind of just poking away at these Eagle Nebula shots. Nothing groundbreaking, I don't think, but we've been having fun playing with these. This is my process of the Eagle Nebula from the other day. Kind of rushed through it just to make it look cool. And then this is today's processing of it. Better, just kind of trying to make it better. But mostly we're comparing it with this data. Whoops. So this was old data. This was from my old rig back in 2016, 9 years ago, right? Yeah. I kind of feel like I got this looking a little bit purple now. I played with those curves and yeah, I'm kind of not liking the pink in there. I don't know. I just the longer you look at it, you know, the more yeah. So that's so this image from 2016 was shot with my 8-inch Orion astrograph, which is basically the same thing as a GSO. The Orion stuff is like a rebranded, you know, GSO scope. And whoops, I clicked off of that. Yeah, so that's the 8-inch scope. Nope, that and yeah, so that data came from this setup with Canon 7D Mark II. Oh, cool. Yeah, right on. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for checking that out. So in that video, I compared basically these two images that I'm working on now, but I wanted to just kind of go back and to kind of process them side by side to give it as consistent a comparison as possible, right? Have kind of the same processing steps for each one. And been kind of interesting to see the different result here. So, but yeah, that's bugging me. Like, it looks kind of purple now, and like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, yeah. It was not astro modified, and that's the main reason why the core on this one looks greenish, and over here I've been trying to sort of replicate that. Because this, you know, the H alpha signal is so much stronger in the new image than the old one. So I've been kind of trying to balance, you know, balance these. And this is the one area where, like, well, one of the areas where I just really suck at doing like curves and trying to balance colors and stuff. Is just never something that I've been particularly good at. And I probably need to just kind of sit down with, you know, some tutorials and learning color science and theory, and you know what the curves tools actually mean. And I mean, I kind of understand it, but you know, also kind of not really. So yeah, I've been kind of trying to get like this green to show up, the greenish blue in the core over here without making it look, you know, unnatural and over processed. And it's tricky. It's really tricky. I think my best bet at making a nice image is to not try to do that. Yeah, well, and because this is not, the old one is not astro modified, the balance between signals, so the O3 in the core is going to be stronger versus the HA signal in the old data than in the new one, right? Because the new one, the HA is so much stronger because there's no filter blocking HA signal. I don't think that's the case at all. That's the whole point of a raw file, is that it's raw data. That's why we call it raw, unprocessed data. But, I mean, so they're different image sensors. So, you know, and or the color calibration done could be slightly different in the color calibration process steps. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can affect the colors, right, that you see. And I mean, the really nitty-gritty of it is like you got to get down into this like color science level of detail that's just like I'm just not I'm not nowhere near knowledgeable enough to really understand that. But we try anyways. Yes, if I totally crush the red here, it looks green. But we don't want to do... It's gonna be tricky to do this without it looking over processed. trying to make it look smooth and natural. Oh, dang it. I feel like that's gonna be too much. Yeah, I don't think I like it. Whenever I try to like really like add color into areas where there isn't color, you get, I don't know, it looks messy and muddy. Let me put the stars back in. Maybe I'll change my view. Well, I don't know. I do like, I mean, I kind of like, yeah, this contrast here with the green in the core area looks really strong there. And over here, it's just not the same, which, you know, like we said, like I keep saying, it's not gonna be the same. But we don't want it to look, maybe I like this background here. That does give good, you know, contrast on the pillars, right? And that look makes that look really detailed and sharp. Maybe that's what we go with. Let's take a look at the processing from the other day. So this kind of just looks, I mean, it's great, but it's just kind of flat. Everything's kind of a different shade of red, different shade of pink. And in here, we definitely see, you know, some green in there. I feel like it looks kind of forced though, and I don't like that. And maybe it only looks forced because like I know it's like that. Maybe I just need to be much more subtle with it. Yeah, and also, you know, when playing with colors, there's only so far you can push the data before it starts getting, you know, blocky or pixelated. Okay, this is actually kind of telling because, I mean, this is obviously way too much, but I can kind of see the point to where it starts to be too much. Yeah, there's not much data in the really bright area up there. It's all kind of in this part of the histogram, or the curves curve. Yeah. Probably also a case of just like, you shouldn't stare at it too long, dude. Yeah, I'm going to abandon this. I'm going to abandon trying to force the colors into there. And I'm just going to say, look, this is the colors. I think that's, my images look best when I do that. When I try to force the colors, they don't look good. Part of the reason is I don't really know what I'm doing. And I think I always strive for a sort of less is more processing rather than over processing. And so I think similarly on here, I think, let's see, did I have... Oh, whoops, it's the wrong image. Yeah, so similarly, I did similar over here where I kind of tried to change the color in that core a little bit, and it was a bit much. Kind of fun to, definitely fun to experiment, good to experiment, but I think my images will look the best if I don't try to do that. And we'll just call it good like that. I mean, they still look great. I'm quite happy with how they look. But over here, we definitely have, yeah, this better contrast. So I was kind of trying to do the same thing over here. And yeah, I mean, the real answer is just, well, less H alpha, which would mean a mono camera and being able to control. I guess that's really the amazing thing with a mono camera, is it allows you to really have control over that, right? And somebody who's better at processing images than me might be able to kind of do what I'm trying to do, which might mean like maybe you need to like subtract the color channels and then recombine them. Subtract the color channels, then mess with the colors individually and then recombine them. You know, I'm like, I don't really want to mess with that. We can look at again, a SETI Astro script. SETI Astro's perfect palette picker. Actually, this kind of isn't right because it's not a narrowband image. But oh, whoops, this kind of wasn't right either. This might do some really weird stuff. Oh, yeah. Right. Yes, and from what I recall, in the days when I was doing DSLR astrophotography, the recommendation was always to turn those features off in the camera. So, yeah, that's not going to do what I was thinking. If I separate these into RGB channels, yeah, so I think to do what I was trying to do would mean, yeah, splitting the channels and then boosting like the B and the G and then recombining them. Which well, I could certainly play with. Let's see. And maybe this would be better in the if they were in the linear state, but so what I'm gonna do is oops, that was saturation. There's no color in there, so I'm like, why is it not saturating? Because there's no color in there. Okay, so I'm gonna try using curves to boost the blue and the green channel. And then I will try LRGB combination. And with the red, let's see. Oh, it just knows how to, it just picks those automatically. Let's see what this does. Oh, did that do it to this image? Oh, actually, huh. That kind of did what I kind of like what that did. It just kind of made the core brighter. And that's kind of what I was trying to do with curves, but I feel like this did just a much more gradual, smooth. Yeah, that's the before, and that's the after. It's not really changing the color in there, but it's definitely sort of removing some of the pink. Looks like it's just kind of changing it more white. And so actually probably what, yeah, this is kind of the exact same thing I was doing with curves. But if I sort of bring down the brightest part of the red, I think if I do the circle, it'll give me a new image. Yeah, maybe that's the exact same, but I don't know. Maybe it's the same result. I feel like it looks better though. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong. Yeah, I think this I'm actually pretty satisfied with. Dang, did I just stumble upon the solution to all my problems? Whoops. Hey now. I mean, using the LRGB combination tool, I guess it's, I don't know, maybe it's doing something a little bit differently than what I was doing with curves. I feel like it's giving me a better result, a more natural looking result that I like. So that's yeah, kind of side by side. Just trying to increase the contrast in the core, a little bit of color contrast in there. Question is, do we get some kind of weird artifacting in here? Where did we land on chroma versus saturation? Indecisive. Ninja Jalopy was saying that saturation increases the brightness. I don't know that I've seen that. That I can attest to that. So, maybe chroma versus saturation is better for the stars. So yeah. I didn't really do much extensive tests on there, but I think, now where are we on left to right? I think I like the left. Normally when I mess with colors like this, I end up with something ugly that I don't like, but I think I like this. I think, yeah, nothing definitive for me, and I think I'll continue to use saturation. Yeah, just having, because this is, you know, pink nebula on pink background. And now we have pink nebula on kind of whitish, greenish background. So you definitely have this better, you know, stands out better, right? It's pretty insane the amount of detail in there for a little 6-inch telescope, man. Yeah. And this is only like 3 hours of data too, so maybe I, you know, throughout the summer, I'll be able to add to it. Yeah, it's definitely bonkers. Yeah, so the question is like, does it look over processed, right? And you know, and that's kind of a subjective evaluation. But I think I like that. And this may be kind of a process that I need to do more with this camera. And you know, like I was saying, one of the downsides of having a one-shot color camera instead of a mono camera. Yeah. Not over processed. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's a pretty good technique. It's kind of funny that I was kind of doing the exact same thing, but by separating the color channels and then recombining them, I don't know, I'm getting kind of a better result. And I just heard a little bit of a bang on my balcony because which reminded me that I have laundry that I need to put in the dryer. So let me take a 1-minute ad break. I'll be right back, and I'll go deal with that. You guys, I don't know, deal with whatever you need to deal with. An interesting conundrum. Yeah. Couple of ideas. Well, you've got two mounts, right? You've got your other mount. You've got the really nice, the new mount, and you've got You've got the other mount. Check the Meg. What's up, brother? Thanks for the subscription. 3 months. You rock, man. Thanks. Check, we're working on Eagle Nebula, obviously. Old data, new data, and then learning some new techniques for myself and making these things, making these things better. It's like you need a Rasa 6 or something. I mean, you know, it depends on the camera. Depends on like a lot of things, right? Unless you want to run, you know, one or the other. I'm assuming you want to run both scopes at the same time, long focal length and wide focal length. For my taste personally, and I mean, I think I'm happier if I can only do one scope. It's going to be longer focal length. It's cool to capture the really large nebulosity areas like the Heart and Soul Nebula. But even in the really large areas, for a lot of objects, maybe not most, but a lot of objects, there's some really great details, you know, when you zoom in, right? So, yeah, Heart and Soul Nebula. This is another one I've processed like a million times. Yeah, these are impressive on a really large scale. This was shot with the Rokinon 135 lens. But then to contrast that, let's see. So I have, with my old rig again, the fish head region, right? So full Heart Nebula, Heart and Soul, and then, you know, zoom in to get all this cool detail in this fish head region, right? The new ZWO 585 with built-in guide camera and ASI air. How convenient would that be, right? Just one device. I mean, that's like 6 cables to get rid of on your rig. I kind of don't like. I don't love the idea of. Well, I mean, ZWO products in general that kind of sort of lock you into their ecosystem. And, you know, that camera's got a computer that only that camera can use. And, like, you know, but, man, greatly simplifying the rig and just having everything, in one device like that. I think there's definitely a reason for something like that. And it's only $800, so that's so much cheaper than buying a camera and a guide camera and a guide scope and now having the guide camera being built into the main imaging camera has limitations, and that probably would not work at all for me here in the light pollution, because if you have a filter, you're blocking light getting to the guider, and most of the narrower field of view, much fewer potential guide stars to use. So I think an integrated guide or an off-axis guider won't work for me. Oh, and Jay, okay. So the full veil nebula, you definitely need a wider. So this is Rokinon 135 for full veil, but then this was with my 8-inch scope. So, there's a lot that can be done. Yeah, two-thirds of a full system and just the camera, yeah. I mean, to me, that's completely a deal breaker, right? I'm not gonna mess with CWO stuff because of that. But but I mean, I think it's a good product. I think there's I think there's a market for it out there. I think there's people that will love it and it'll work fine. And I think it's a good product for the astrophotography community, the astrophotography hobby, because it's entry point, exactly. And the easier it is and more accessible it is to more people, the more people that will want to do it, that will do it. And that's a rising tide raises all boats, right? So that's good for all of us. So yeah, it's kind of hard to recommend for starters though, because it's like just buy that camera and it'll do everything you need. But then but then you're kind of stuck and you can't upgrade, right? So then it's like you want a bigger camera. Well, now you'd also have to get a computer and a guide camera. So, it's kind of this tricky area, isn't it? But I think for starting out, I think for starting out, sort of minimizing the amount of setup, the amount of hardware, the amount of stuff you have to, plug in and get working, because you have a mini PC, you have to install Nina, and then you also have to install, the plate solving software, and you have to get the drivers, and you have to get USB cables to plug in, and this cable doesn't work or that cable doesn't work, and then you have cable snag, and there's like so much more complexity. Every time you add a device, like the level of complexity goes up by like 2 or 3, right? And your guide scope, and now you have to get your guide scope in focus, and then the guide camera has to be hooked up, and so it's just a lot. And when you've been doing any kind of hobby or skill or activity for a while, you start to take all those little things for granted, and the one device, the camera that does your imaging and your computering and your guiding all in one thing, one power cable, it's kind of hard to argue against that. Yeah, the problem with the integrated guiding or the separate guide chip on the same camera is that your main imaging camera and imaging field of view is the same as your main imaging scope, that field of view. So for me, in the light pollution, that's not going to work because I tend to have a hard time. The field of view is so narrow with the longer focal length that having appropriate guide stars for auto guiding, I can't imagine that working like at all, even except maybe on only the targets with the brightest of bright stars right in there. So I mean, I don't think there's any one size ever going to be like a one size fits all kind of thing. So yes, I'm still confused all the time, Jay. Yeah, very overwhelming if you're trying to get into it and don't know. So yep. Yeah, so if you just have and that brings up another thing I want to play with. I haven't been able to get this scope out yet, but there was a thread on the Cloudy Nights forums. Here we go. Yeah, maybe the 585 sensors. So I'll post the links to these threads. So people were asking, is ASTAP still the best plate solver for Nina? And I definitely have a lot of problems plate solving in the light pollution here. Just doesn't see enough stars. And people are recommending the plate solver from PlaneWave, which apparently you can just, they give away, you can just download this. So read that thread. ASTAP, exactly. Tap that as. Plane wave instruments, yeah. So they have a plate solver. At that link, you scroll like all the way down to the bottom. Plate solve 2. And so apparently this is freely available. And people in that thread are saying that the plane wave plate solve 2 software absolutely nails it every single time. Even with narrow field of views in light pollution. So maybe we need to do like a live stream one evening coming up, and I can kind of try the two side by side because yeah, I've been having problems with plate solving here in the light pollution at home, and it's yeah, play around with that, give that a try. Let me know. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on that. So what's the weather looking like in the next few days? Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night would probably be a really good test because the transparency is supposed to be not very great. Friday night would be kind of decent. So yeah, maybe the next couple of nights we can, yeah, we can do that. Oh yeah, collimating the RC. I've seen videos on that. I think ideally you need some different laser tools. Yeah. Yeah, give that a shot and report back in the Discord if you guys try that plate solver. I'm gonna try it next chance I get, I think. So, are we done with these images? I think I'm kind of done. I think I'm kind of in love. Yeah, dude, right on. Hell yeah. Do I want more saturation? No, I think I like that. I was just looking at like these like these images, and like going back and looking at this is like, that's way oversaturated. But I kind of look at this for a minute and then I come over here and it's like, now this looks black and white compared to this thing. But that's way too much contrast and too saturated. And this is another thing where it really depends on the monitor, right? The device that you're looking at. If I was gonna print this, I think I would boost the saturation up a lot if I was gonna print it. Look at that Rosette Nebula. That was from the light pollution. That's got a bit more saturation. Okay, I think I convinced myself that I want a little bit more saturation in there. And I think I am pleased with the, the contrast in the core there. So I'll remove the stars and then, well, Jay was asking about saturation versus chrominance. So I don't know. Here, I'll do chrominance. This is chrominance. Chrominance seems easy to push it way too far like that. And this seems to be kind of changing the colors too. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, saturation. Yeah, I feel like chrominance is kind of changing the colors a bit. And I just push the chrominance up. Well, camera, this is the Player One Uranus C Pro. So it's a 585 sensor. Which is kind of insane to think about, that such a little sensor can get anywhere near as good as this APS-C size sensor. I'm gonna bump the saturation on both of those up. Little pixels, yeah, indeed. Yeah, almost like half the size. Not quite. 2/3 the size of the... Yeah, I think I'm done with these images. They're never done, they're just abandoned, right? I definitely am in love with that. And I've found myself just kind of staring at it, which is great, right? Especially with this kind of music we got going. But if I had a little, you know... Okay, so that's my processing from the other night. And that's the processing from right now. This one's definitely better. Use both for guiding or mosaics or both. That's, I was gonna say that's kind of what, it's kind of what the image sensor that Jay's using, because it's a square sensor, and I think the width is the exact same, but the pixels are also larger on it, so. All right. Well, kind of look in the core here. Compare those two. Ended up with, I think, better contrast in here. I can kind of see these details a bit better. I don't know. I don't know my Astro image sensor market very well. I'm just familiar with the 585, which I kind of just happened to, by chance, buy that camera, the regular Player One Uranus C. I bought it for planetary imaging, and then it was like, oh, I could do pretty decent deep sky stuff too. And then recently I upgraded to the Pro version, which has the cooler. The stars are much smaller over here than over here. I suppose I could stretch the stars a little bit less on this one. They look kind of bloated and blown out in there. All right, I think I'm gonna save these out. I think I'm gonna, at the very least, I need to like walk away from it, right? Because it's like you spend so much time staring at it, and it's like, you know, you need like fresh eyes to make decisions. All right, let's save these out. Alrighty. Got them saved. I think I'm gonna call this one a day. Is there anybody streaming on Twitch to raid out to? Let's see. Nah, it doesn't really look like it. Yeah, I think I should bounce off, take care of some other stuff. I did set up an Onshape account. And I want to start using Onshape for all my CADs. I tried to just I imported the decal CAD, and I tried to figure out if I could kind of figure out Onshape on my own without some software help, and not really. So or some tutorial help. So I think I need to follow some tutorials. Oh, you're an Onshape user, Chegg? Yeah, right on. Oh yeah, you know what? I think I have. I think your Astro Tracker was. Was that your Astro Tracker? How do I close? Yes, close document there. Shared with. Yeah. Oh, are you also using Shifty? Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is Chegg the Meg's project, right? So, but it's clear that I need to go through some tutorials to understand the user interface and the workflow here in Onshape. I spent an annoying amount of time, a very frustrating amount of time getting the space mouse to work in Onshape. And I finally got it to work. I was just so frustrated. I'm like, okay, I'm not fucking with this software. Like I'm leaving. It does have a dark mode, which is great. I like that. You're not that deep into CAD. Yeah, cool. Right on. Yeah. So I've been, I have like been using SolidWorks for like 20 years. So all the work I do is in SolidWorks. But certainly for these projects that I'm doing that I intend to be open source, kind of community projects, it definitely makes much more sense to do them in CAD like Onshape, which others, can access for free versus, SolidWorks, which is mostly not accessible to anybody. So, yeah, the only thing that sucks is cloud compute. Yeah. Oh, really? It takes forever to load? Interesting. I might have to kind of take a look at that. SolidWorks can take an absolute asinine amount of time to load large assemblies. So that's not just an Onshape or a cloud compute kind of thing. Even on a super beefy computer, a SolidWorks large assembly can take, can really bog a system down. So, I think that's probably a CAD in general kind of thing, right? So, anyways, I finally got the space mouse to work. It was really obnoxious, and type of thing I Google for, and you find like these vague answers or a thread that somebody asked about a problem, and then it never got updated and never got resolved. But anyways, I figured it out. It was just had to install the driver correctly. It a frustratingly dumb thing about it, but I got it to work, and that's pretty important to me that I have space mouse functionality. I have converted CAD in the past. I used SolidWorks, and then I converted to Fusion 360 for about 4 years, and there were some things that I liked about it, and then I've been back to using SolidWorks. So learning to use a new piece of CAD software is not that foreign to me. I can get there. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I feel you. Yeah. Yeah. So this has a lot of geometry. Yeah. So that's gonna have issues like that, right? So. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I bring that up because probably if we do some CAD streams in the future, I want to do them in Onshape. And I do have a few projects in the works. Well, okay, I have one, not in the works. I have one project in the works. I'm still waiting to hear about that. But that was a SolidWorks CAD thing. And then I have one project in mind. It's in the works in my head. I haven't actually started working on it yet. And yeah, so any new stuff I would like to kind of try to commit to using Onshape. So I need to do some tutorials. I need to watch the tutorials. You click here, click there, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, you guys know how it is. And then yeah, get that going. Cause I would like to, I think that would be better for everybody and good for me to learn new things. It's always good to, step outside of your comfort zone and learn new things. Oh, that is. I went full screen on the browser tab there, and now it's like very laggy and delayed. So, okay, you can't go full screen. Yeah, well, that's okay. Guess there's a limit to how well that works. But yeah, so that's coming up that's something to come in the future, so we'll have have that to look forward to, and yeah, I don't know about Astro. Oh, we mentioned doing a live, an astrophotography live stream, kind of just to try out that other solver. So maybe we'll do that, and we'll wait to hear from you guys in the community how, yeah. You have some friction drive ideas floating around. Yeah. I really want to work on the new project that I mentioned in my head. I've done some math and I've sourced some materials. I'm pretty sure it'll work. I just need to sit down and design a few parts. Is an artificial star setup. And that's something that will really help the DIY telescope builders like myself with telescope collimation and things, getting star shapes right. If you have an artificial star, you can eliminate all the variables that come along with star testing in real life with weather and guiding and seeing conditions. So having an artificial star could be very, very helpful. Of course, like a lot of things, it's more complicated than just than just a flashlight. So I've got some ideas for that, and I would like to work on that. And I've also got the new wedge project for the new wedge for my mount using CNC machine parts. The design work on that is done. I'm still waiting to hear from the vendor about making those parts for me. I have not heard from them in a couple days, which is pretty lame. So I'm not going to do any more work on that until I get confirmation that they're going to make the parts. Because if they're not going to make the parts, then I'm wasting my time. So I don't like wasting my time. So yeah. All right, I think I need to get out of here. Thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks, Chegg, again for the subscription. And maybe we'll be back later in the week. I appreciate you guys.